6 hours before my wedding, I discovered a message that destroyed everything. My hands trembled as I stared at my fiancé's phone, the intimate exchange with my best friend Jessica still displayed on the screen. Behind me, my wedding dress hung like a ghost, mocking the dreams I'd held just moments before. "Lauren," my mother's voice called from the hallway. "Your hair appointment is in 20 minutes. We need to go." I locked the screen and slipped the phone back onto the nightstand, my mind racing. 5 months of planning. $20,000, most of it mine, spent on the perfect Miami beachfront ceremony. Invitations to 150 people, all built on a foundation of betrayal. Coming, I managed, sounding calmer than I felt. My reflection in the mirror looked alien, pale face, wide eyes, the beginning of what would become a migraine pulsing behind my temples. But I was Lauren Garcia, professional event manager, the woman who kept everything running smoothly no matter what disaster struck. Today would be no different. Just a change of plans. My mother was waiting in the hallway of the hotel suite, already dressed in her mother-of-the-bride outfit that had cost more than my first car. "There you are. Why are you dressed?" "The stylist is waiting, and your bridesmaids are all ready. I just needed a minute," I interrupted, grabbing my purse. "Let's go." In the elevator, she studied my face. "Are you feeling all right? You look pale." "Pre-wedding jitters," I lied. She patted my arm. "That's normal, sweetheart. Everyone gets nervous. But Ryan is a wonderful man. You've made the right choice." Had I? The Ryan I thought I knew wouldn't exchange messages like that with Jessica, messages talking about when this is over and our future together. Messages with heart emojis and intimate photos I couldn't unsee. Jessica. My best friend since college. My maid of honor. The woman who'd helped me choose my wedding dress. As we entered the salon, I was greeted by squeals of excitement. Jessica was already there, champagne glass in hand, wearing the silk robe I'd bought for all my bridesmaids. "There's the bride," she exclaimed, rushing to hug me. I felt my body go rigid, but forced myself to return the embrace. "Sorry I'm late," I said, accepting a glass of champagne I had no intention of drinking. "No worries. We've got plenty of time." Jessica's smile was radiant. Not a hint of guilt. Not a flicker of shame. For the next hour, I sat motionless as the stylist worked on my hair, the chatter of my bridesmaids washing over me. My mother coordinated with the photographer. Jessica managed the mimosa refills, ever the perfect maid of honor. I studied her in the mirror. How long had it been going on? Weeks? Months? The entire 2 years of my engagement? Earth to Lauren. Jessica waved her hand in front of my face. "The stylist needs to know if you like it." I blinked at my reflection. An elegant updo exactly as I'd planned. "It's perfect," I said mechanically. "Are you sure? You seem distracted." I met her eyes in the mirror, just thinking about all the details. "That's why you have me." She squeezed my shoulders. "Everything's under control. Your wedding planner confirmed the flowers are being set up, the DJ is on schedule, and Ryan texted that he and the groomsmen are getting ready." Ryan. My stomach twisted. "Did he?" I kept my voice neutral. "Yeah, seems like everything's on track," Jessica replied, checking her own phone. Was she texting him now? Right in front of me? "I need to make a call," I said abruptly, standing up. "Wedding planner stuff." Outside the salon, I leaned against the wall, breathing deeply. I had 3 choices: cancel the wedding and face humiliation, go through with it and confront Ryan later. Or confront them both now. None felt right. My phone buzzed with a text from my cousin Emily, the only family member who'd ever been straight with me. "Just arrived at the hotel. You okay? Need anything?" Emily. The one person who wouldn't sugarcoat things or tell me what I wanted to hear. "Meet me in my suite in 30 minutes. Emergency. Tell no one." Her reply was immediate. On it. "Room number?" I gave her the information and returned to the salon, a plan forming. "All good?" Jessica asked brightly. Perfect, I replied, my smile now matching hers in falseness. Everything's right on schedule. Back in my suite, I paced while waiting for Emily. The evidence was still on Ryan's phone, which he'd carelessly left charging while he went for a quick golf game with his groomsmen this morning. A golf game that, according to his location sharing, hadn't taken him anywhere near the course. A knock at the door startled me. "Lauren? It's me." I let Emily in, checking the hallway before closing the door. "What's going on?" she asked, taking in my expression. "You look like hell." Without a word, I handed her Ryan's phone, open to the messages. Emily's eyes widened as she scrolled. "Holy shit," she whispered. "With Jessica?" "You're Jessica." Apparently she's Ryan's Jessica too. Emily continued reading, her expression darkening. "This goes back almost a year? What are you going to do?" I took the phone back, scrolling to messages from earlier that morning. "Can't wait for tonight," Jessica had written. "Once this charade is over." "Few more hours of pretending," Ryan had replied. "Then we're free." Free. As if I were a prison sentence to be endured. "I'm going to need your help," I said finally. "I have a plan." Emily's eyes lit up. "Whatever you need. Just say the word." "I need you to get something from my apartment. The spare key is under the potted plant." "What am I looking for?" I took a deep breath. "A photo album. Dark blue cover in the bottom drawer of my desk. And bring your laptop." As Emily left on her mission, I called my wedding planner. "Melissa? It's Lauren. I need a change to the reception setup." 2 hours later, dressed in my wedding gown but with a clarity I hadn't felt in years, I sat in the bridal suite reviewing the final adjustments to my plan. The photo album Emily had retrieved lay open on the bed, pictures I'd found months ago while organizing for our move into a new condo. Pictures I'd told myself had to be old, from before we met. Pictures of Ryan and Jessica together at a cabin I didn't recognize. I'd convinced myself they were from college before I knew either of them. I'd convinced myself the date stamps were wrong. I'd buried the album in my desk drawer and forced myself to forget about it. What a fool I'd been. My phone buzzed with a message from my mother. "Where are you?" "Everyone's waiting for the pre-ceremony photos." I ignored it. Emily returned from her reconnaissance mission. "Everything's set up exactly as you asked. The DJ has the playlist change, Melissa adjusted the slideshow, and I talked to the photographer." "And the envelope?" "On the head table, right where you specified." I nodded, gathering my courage. "And you have your car ready?" "Parked by the side exit, full tank of gas." She hesitated. "Lauren, are you sure about this? It's not too late to just cancel quietly." I stood, smoothing my dress. I've spent my entire life being the reliable one. The planner. The one who makes everything work for everyone else. I picked up my bouquet. "Not today." As I walked down the hotel corridor toward the beach, bridesmaids fluttering around me like anxious butterflies, I felt strangely calm. Jessica linked her arm with mine, her smile never faltering. "You look stunning," she gushed. "Ryan is going to die when he sees you." "That would certainly solve one problem," I replied with a tight smile. She laughed, thinking I was joking. We reached the beach staging area, where my father waited to walk me down the aisle. The wedding planner rushed over, making last-minute adjustments to my train. "Everything's ready," she whispered. "Including your special requests." I nodded my thanks. "There you are." My mother hurried over. "We've been looking everywhere. The ceremony was supposed to start 10 minutes ago." "Sorry," I said calmly. "I needed some time to prepare." She studied my face. "You still look pale. Are you feeling all right?" "Never better," I assured her. "Let's not keep everyone waiting." Music began to play, the traditional wedding march I'd selected months ago. My bridesmaids lined up, Jessica at the front as maid of honor. She gave me a final squeeze. "See you at the altar," she whispered, then processed down the aisle between rows of white chairs filled with guests. My father offered his arm. "Ready, princess?" I took it, feeling the weight of the moment. Actually, Dad, there's been a slight change of plans. His eyebrows rose. What do you mean? Just follow my lead, okay? And whatever happens, know that I'm fine. Before he could question me further, the music changed. Our cue. All eyes turned as we appeared at the end of the aisle. Ryan stood at the altar in his tuxedo, handsome as ever, Jessica beaming beside him as maid of honor. I locked eyes with Ryan. His smile flickered as he registered something in my expression. We reached the altar. The minister began to speak, but I raised my hand, silencing him. Before we begin, I said, my voice carrying across the now silent crowd, I'd like to say a few words. Murmurs rippled through the guests. My mother's face tightened in confusion. First, I want to thank everyone for coming today. Many of you traveled far to be here, and I appreciate that. I paused, scanning the crowd. I've always prided myself on being organized, on planning for every contingency. But some things you just can't prepare for. I turned to face Ryan and Jessica, standing side by side. Like discovering that your fiancé and maid of honor have been having an affair for nearly a year. Gasps erupted from the audience. Ryan's face drained of color. Jessica's mouth opened in shock. Lauren, Ryan hissed, what are you doing? I smiled serenely. I'm being efficient. Telling everyone at once seemed easier than making 150 phone calls. This is inappropriate, my mother interjected, trying to take my arm. Let's discuss this privately. I stepped away from her. No more privacy. No more secrets. I addressed the crowd again. Ryan and Jessica have been planning their future together, apparently contingent on getting through today's charade, as they called it. Ryan stepped forward. Lauren, you're making a scene. You're overreacting to what? These? I nodded to Emily, who pressed a button on her laptop. The large screen set up for the reception slideshow illuminated, displaying the messages I'd found that morning, enlarged for all to see. More gasps. Someone in Ryan's family swore loudly. Or perhaps these? Another nod to Emily, and the screen changed to the photos from the album, Ryan and Jessica at a cabin, on a beach, in a hotel room. Dates clearly visible. Times that overlapped with our engagement. Jessica stepped forward, tears streaming down her face. Lauren, please, we were going to tell you when? After I paid for your romantic honeymoon? After the wedding you helped me plan while sleeping with my fiancé? My father moved to my side, his face dark with anger as he finally understood. I think everyone should leave, he announced. The wedding is clearly off. Not quite yet, I countered. I have one more announcement. I turned back to the stunned crowd. The reception will still be held as planned. The food is paid for, the band is ready, and frankly, I think we could all use a drink after this. I smiled without humor. I, however, will not be attending. I removed my engagement ring and placed it on the altar. I have a plane to catch. The honeymoon package is non-refundable and Bora Bora is lovely this time of year. With that, I turned and walked back down the aisle alone. Whispers followed me like a new train on my dress. Emily fell into step beside me as I reached the back row. The car's ready, she murmured. As we reached the hotel's side exit, I heard my name being called. Ryan, running after me, his face flushed. Lauren, wait. This is insane. We need to talk. I turned to face him one last time. I think your messages said everything. Those were, I was confused. Jessica means nothing. Save it for your next fiancé. I nodded to the white envelope Emily pressed into my hand. Here's my wedding gift to you both. The invoice for the wedding. Split it however you like. I thrust the envelope into his hands and walked out the door. In Emily's car, I finally allowed myself to breathe. The Miami coastline blurred as we sped toward the airport, my wedding dress bunched awkwardly around me. You okay? Emily asked, glancing over. I stared out the window, watching the hotel recede in the distance. Not remotely. But I will be. That was the most badass thing I've ever seen, she said admiringly. The slideshow was epic. A laugh escaped me, surprising, almost foreign. Event management is my specialty. Why waste a perfectly good venue setup? At the airport, I changed in a bathroom stall, stuffing the wedding dress into a garbage bin. The ticket to Bora Bora felt like a talisman in my hand, proof that I was choosing myself for once. My phone buzzed constantly, messages from Ryan, Jessica, my mother, guests. I turned it off without reading any of them, as I settled into my first-class seat. Upgraded courtesy of the honeymoon package, I ordered a champagne. The flight attendant smiled sympathetically at my obvious solitude. "Special occasion?" she asked. I considered the question as Miami fell away beneath us. Yes, I decided. It's my Independence Day. 6 months later, I stood in my new apartment in San Francisco, unpacking the last of my boxes. The cross-country move had been impulsive by my standards, a complete deviation from my usual methodical planning. But after the wedding that wasn't, I needed more than just a different apartment. I needed a different life. The marketing firm that had been trying to recruit me for years had been delighted by my sudden interest. The signing bonus had covered my moving expenses, and the higher salary made the San Francisco rent almost palatable. My phone chimed with a text from Emily, who'd become my closest confidant. "Any regrets?" I looked around at my new home, my new city, my new beginning. "None whatsoever," I replied. Another message followed. "Your mother called me again. She says Ryan and Jessica broke up. Apparently he cheated on her too." I snorted. Some patterns never change. "History repeats," I wrote back. "How's she taking it?" "According to your mom, she's devastated. Keeps saying she made a terrible mistake and lost her best friend for nothing." I set down my phone without replying. The initial rage had faded months ago, leaving something quieter but no less resolute. Jessica hadn't just betrayed me as a fiancé, she'd betrayed me as a friend. That was harder to forgive. My doorbell rang, the furniture delivery I'd been waiting for. As I directed the movers where to place my new couch, purchased with money that would have gone to wedding thank you cards, my work phone rang. "Lauren Garcia," I answered. "Ms. Garcia, this is Andrew Patel from Luminous Events. We spoke at the industry conference last month." I remembered, a prestigious event management company with celebrity clients. "Of course, Mr. Patel. How can I help you?" "I was impressed by your portfolio, particularly how you handled that charity gala on such short notice. We have an opening on our executive team and would like to discuss the possibility of bringing you on board." My heart raced. Luminous Events was the gold standard in the industry, a company I'd admired for years, but assumed was out of reach. "I'd be very interested in having that conversation," I replied, keeping my voice professional despite my excitement. After scheduling a meeting for the following week, I hung up and stared at my phone in disbelief. 6 months ago, I'd thought my life was ending. Now doors were opening that I'd never even considered knocking on. The irony wasn't lost on me. Ryan's betrayal had freed me from a relationship that had slowly been diminishing me. I'd spent years accommodating his career, his preferences, his needs, reorganizing my life to fit around his. Without him, I was expanding into spaces I'd forgotten existed. As night fell over San Francisco, I sat on my new balcony with a glass of wine, watching the city lights. My phone buzzed with a text from a number I didn't immediately recognize. "It's Ryan. Got your number from your mom. I've been doing a lot of thinking. What happened with Jessica was a mistake. I miss you, Lauren. I think we should talk." I stared at the message, a complex wave of emotions washing over me. 6 months ago, part of me might have wanted this, validation that he'd made a mistake, that I was the better choice after all. Now it just felt like noise. I typed a simple reply, "No thank you." Then I blocked the number. Setting down my phone, I returned my attention to the San Francisco skyline. Bright, vibrant, full of possibilities. The wedding day that should have been my ending had become my beginning instead. Some secrets, once revealed, set you free. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Would you have confronted them at the altar, or handled it privately? Was I right to go on the honeymoon alone, or should I have returned the gifts and canceled everything? Have you ever had to completely rebuild your life after betrayal? Did I make the right choice blocking Ryan's message after 6 months? I'm still navigating this journey and would appreciate your insights and experiences.